Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to be showing you how to build this underground survival base in Minecraft. This should have all of the necessities that you need to survive in your world. Plenty of storage for all of your items, a brewing setup as well as a small food source, plenty of furnaces for all of your smelting, and of course an enchanting table and bedroom. If you're choosing to build this in survival mode, which I'm assuming you are, you're going to want to check out the description down below for a full materials list of all of the items that we're going to be using to complete the build. So as far as the entranceway is concerned, you can do whatever you want with that. Maybe have some sort of technical redstone hidden door, or possibly build a really big grand entrance. In my case, I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just make a small entranceway on the front of a face of a mountain like we have here. So first things first, we're going to punch out a 2x1 hole for our door, which is going to go right here on the back of this block. Then we're going to have two stairs upside down pointing into each other, a trapdoor in the middle, a trapdoor on top of both of the stairs with a slab in the center. Then underneath these stairs we're going to have two spruce trapdoors, and we just want to flap them flat like that. And then on the back of these three blocks on both of the sides, we're just going to have three more trapdoors, and then our entranceway is all done, super simple, and should be looking like this. So now we can get started on the actual base itself. So we're going to open up our door and break these two blocks and just shut ourselves inside. We're also going to break the block above us, and then we're going to face forward away from the door. And we're going to break 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these blocks. And then we basically want to do that 7 more times. So not the top block, but the one underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And just to measure and make sure we've got everything correct, we should be able to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 spruce stairs until you get to this point right here in front of the doorway, and we can replace this block with a spruce plank. If you've got all of that correct, you're doing good so far. Now we just want to make our staircase a little bit bigger, so we're going to break all of the blocks on both of the sides, and then we're going to expand the staircase out with 1 block on either side. Quick little note on how I've placed the stairs down. As you can see, either side of this center stair, I've just placed it facing into the wall so they curve round to the side, as opposed to just being straight like that. So when you're placing them down, just face either wall. But now what we can do is just a little bit more expanding on our staircase here. So the first thing we're going to do is just break these 6 blocks at the top. So that should be 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks high. What we're then going to do for each of the rows down, so 8 I believe that should be in total, we're going to break these 6 blocks and then break the next 6 all the way down until the bottom. And when we get to this point, you can make sure you've done that all correct, because above each stair there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blocks until we get to the ceiling, with the exception of these 2 at the start here. Next up, we can come back down to the bottom stair here, and we're just going to break these 5 blocks on either side, as well as the one in the floor here. In the floor, we can place down a barrel on both sides, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 dark oak logs placed on top of it, just like that. We can actually fill in the block above here with any block. It's not going to be visible, so it doesn't matter. But then across the middle here, we're just going to have 3 horizontal dark oak logs. Then we're going to count up 1, 2, and 3, and on the 4th line here, we're going to break these 5 blocks on both of the sides and do a very similar thing. 1, 2, 3, and 4 dark oak logs with a barrel on the bottom block, just like that. Don't need to worry about doing a beam across, that was just for the bottom. But real quickly, what we can do at the entranceway here, we're just going to have a line of spruce planks at the top there, a stair upside down either side, a spruce trapdoor in the center, and then 2 either side. Very reminiscent of our front entranceway outside of the base. As for the ceiling, we want to start off in the center here by placing a polished andesite slab and then an upside down polished andesite stair, and we're going to bring them all the way down until the bottom right here, just above the logs. And then on both of the sides, we're just going to do the same thing except with stone bricks this time. So slabs at the top, and then the rest of them are just upside down stairs like so. All of these 4 sections of the wall are completely the same for the most part, so all we're going to do is break all of the blocks that we can see here, and then on the bottom 3 blocks here, here and here, we're going to place in some polished deep slate, and then from the middle one we're going to skip a block, and then on this one right here we're going to place some sort of lighting block. It's going to be hidden, so it doesn't matter, whatever you have on hand, so jack-o'-lanterns, sea lanterns, frog lights, anything like that is absolutely fine. Doesn't matter, it's not on show because we're going to be putting a painting on the front of it. As for the rest of the blocks, we're going to be doing a combination of cobbled deep slate and deep slate placed in 2 ways, like this and like this. So when we place it on the wall, it goes a little bit like that. We get the bottom texture, and when we place it on the side of a block, we get the side texture. So you kind of just want to do a mix of all 3 of those, and we should get something like this. That can then be done for the rest of the walls too. I just want to give you a quick tip for placing the deep slate like this. At the moment it doesn't matter because we can place it directly on the wall, but we're going to be doing this wall design elsewhere in the build, so I think this is really helpful to know. So when you don't have a block behind to actually place the deep slate on, what you can do is place in a temporary block like dirt that can be instantly broken with a shovel. And then if you put the blocks here on your offhand and you mine it with an efficiency 5 shovel, something that can instantly break the dirt, we're going to click both at the same time, and as you can see, it's as though I've just placed it on the back of the block like that. So as long as you place it at the same time, both clicks at once, and you're facing the back of the block, it should work pretty well. So with our entranceway all done now, we can head down to the bottom, and starting from this point right here, with this block being the lowest point, we want to go ahead and dig out a 23 block long by 13 block wide by 6 block high hole, which should look something like this. So from the bottom of the staircase, this side should be 13 blocks long, it should be 6 blocks high going up until this point right here, and the long wall here should be 23 blocks. Now we're just going to go around and plot out where the walls are going to be going. So starting from one of the sides here, diagonally across from the barrel, we're going to place in a polished deep slate, then another barrel here like that. We're going to leave a gap of 3 and place in another barrel. Then we're going to leave a gap of 2, another barrel, another gap of 2, another barrel, and then one more gap of 2 with another barrel. So just to recap, deep slate, barrel, 3 blocks, barrel 2, barrel 2, barrel 2. Then we're going to leave 3 blocks, and then we're going to have a deep slate right next to it here on the left side, then another one here diagonally inwards, then a barrel, and then right at the end of the room here, we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3. And then basically you just kind of want to repeat that going across the other side. So obviously this block over here would be a barrel, and so on and so forth. Just mirror it over here. With all of those points added in, we can now start placing in some stripped dark oak logs, like I've already started on this side. They're both the same, so we're just going to copy this over. So starting at the front here by our staircase, above this barrel we're going to place in 3 stripped dark oak logs. This barrel to the left is going to be 3, then we're going to have 4, then we're going to have 4 again, then 3, then 3, and then 4. Obviously that is on both of the sides, as you can see. So starting from the front, it's 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, and 4. Then from the 3 high pillars, so on 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them, we're going to start by placing in a spruce trapdoor on the top part of this log with a full plank on top of it, a spruce stair upside down in front of the full plank with a slab on top of that one. Then we're going to have a trapdoor in front of the stair. Then we're going to have a slab and then another slab. Then we can turn around to the other side and we're going to do the exact same thing. So trapdoor, full block, stair, slab, trapdoor, and slab. So we should get this archway shape, which can be done on all of the logs that are 3 blocks high. So just skip out this one, and this one back here. When you're all done, you should end up with a total of 4 spruce archways. In the center, underneath all of these archways, we're going to have a chain with a lantern hanging down from underneath, just like that. It may also be wise at this point, if you haven't already been placing torches down, just to place in a couple of temporary ones. We're going to basically place one in each corner. Doesn't have to be a torch, come to think about it. It can be any block, but it's just to stop mobs from spawning back here, because we're not going to be building anything in the 4 corners. The next thing we're going to work on are these 3 block gap sections. So there's 2 here at the back of the base and then 2 here a bit nearer the staircase. And all we're going to be doing for these is on the top block of these logs, place in 2 upside down stairs facing into each other, spruce trapdoor going across the middle, and then just up against the barrels and the logs here, we're going to have 3 spruce trapdoors. And on top of these 3 blocks, we want to have 3 spruce planks. So we want to do that 3 more times too. With all of the archways now in position, we can get started on the ceiling. And we're going to start by doing the ceiling in this little section here, the 3 wide one, where we've just done the archways. So what we're going to do is grab our stone brick slabs and we're going to place one on the top part of this block, then in line with this slab, then 3 across the top and 2 more on the other side. We can do the same next to this archway, and then in the center here we want to do the same but with polished andesite slabs, and we can do the same thing over on this section too. As for this longer section, we're going to start off by doing the exact same thing, so 2 slabs, 3 slabs and 2 over here. Then coming all the way across to the other side, we're going to start by having some more stone bricks. Then we're going to go with andesite, then 2 more stone bricks, and pretty much all we're doing here is placing down andesite in front of the logs. So we'll go with andesite again, and then we'll have 2 more stone bricks, which should take us all the way across to our archway on the other side and line up exactly the same. We've just got 2 more parts of the ceiling to go, at the back and at the front. We'll start at the front. It's very, very simple. Basically, on the middle block here on the ceiling, we're going to have a stone brick slab with 2 polished andesite slabs either side, and then down by half a block, we'll have 2 more stone bricks. Simple as that. Now heading to the back of the build here, slightly more complicated, but pretty much exactly the same as what we've been doing, just kind of switching up the blocks as we go. So we'll start on this full block here with a stone brick, then we're going to go with an andesite, then we're going to go with a stone brick, andesite, stone brick, andesite, stone brick. So just like that, same pattern, just changing up the blocks. Then what we can do on the top of this log block, we're going to go with a polished andesite on both of the sides, and then 3 stone brick across the middle, just like that. Then we can go ahead and stick a temporary block in the middle here, and we're going to stick a stone brick slab either side of the bottom half of the block, and then we're just going to remove the dirt block and replace it with a polished andesite slab. And there we go, that is the ceiling all done. Quick correction, you actually want to change out this stone brick slab for an andesite slab. With the ceiling done, we can now get started on the walls, which is going to be made out of our deepslate blocks. So we're going to come to the front of the entranceway here. On top of these polished blocks, we're just going to have 4 deepslate blocks like that. Of course, you want to mix in a little bit of texture. You can either do this as you go or gradually work it in as you place in the cobbled ones. I'm not going to do it each time. You get the idea. You can do that bit on your own. But then we're going to come to the back and basically do the exact same thing. So on each of these polished deepslate blocks, we're just placing in 4 of the cobbled and regular deepslate. Basically, just make sure you can't see through to the area behind it through the walls. As you can see, you can't see anything but deepslate, stone and wood, which is great. Now we're going to get started on the walls behind all of the chests, which are going to be going in these spots right here, the 2 wide sections. So what we want to do behind each of the barrels is place in a polished deepslate. And then 2 blocks back, right against the wall here, we're just going to place in 2 more like so. And then on top of all of these, we're going to bring them up by 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to go all the way up to 4 this time. Of course, once again, mix in some of that regular deepslate too. Don't bust a gut doing this either. You probably don't even need to add in the texture because there's going to be chests in the way, so you most likely won't even be able to see it that well, but still, I don't think it hurts to add in a little bit of texture Also, it might be wise to either place a torch or just fill in these spots right here, because mobs will most certainly spawn. You're probably alright for the other two, but just the two in the center here, either fill them in or place a torch down there. And of course, when you're all done here, do it over on the flip side too. When you're all done, you should have something that looks like this on both of the sides where the chests are going to be going. But now what we're going to do is work on these two archways here nearest the staircase. So not the two at the back here where the bedroom's going to be going. We want the two by the entranceway here. And we're just going to pick one of them for now. I'm going to go on the left hand side. Doesn't really matter all that much which one you choose, but we're just going to place in a polished deep slate here behind the barrel and then 3 across the back. And we just want to mix our cobbled and regular deep slate so it's 3 blocks high, just like that. Of course, mix in a little bit, you know what to do. Over on this side, slightly different. We're just going to punch out these blocks right here. So it's 3 across and 4 high. And then we're going to place in 2 polished deep slates here on both of the sides and 3 across the back. And same as what we've been doing, we're just going to bring that up by 3 more all the way around like that. Real quickly, we can just grab some spruce slabs and trapdoors, and on these 2 sections right here, on the one with less depth, so not the one that we had to dig a little bit on this one right here, super simply from the top of these blocks right here, in fact you want to look at the bottom half of them, we're just going to place in 3 spruce slabs like that. Then over on this side, what we're going to do, from the top of these blocks, we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors either side, and then from the bottom of this middle block, 2 slabs going across. Then on all of the sections where we have our chests, so 3 on this side and 3 on this side, we just want to, starting from this block right here, just place in 4 of them like that. Now you want to make sure these are slabs that you're using, not full blocks, because there's going to be a chest right here on this block, and obviously if it's a full block you're not going to be able to open the chest, so just make sure you are in fact using slabs or some of the block that is transparent so that your chest will be able to be opened. So we've done the ceiling, we've done the walls. Now we can get started on the floor, which I've already begun with. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is just break all of the blocks here in the main room. We're not going to go past any of the barrels here. We're just going to keep it to the central area. And quick note, you don't really need to break these 3 at the back here. They're going to be covered up, so just leave it as they are. Basically, you want to have 5 blocks here all the way across this big rectangle and 5 more blocks here right at the staircase. And we're going to grab our stripped spruce logs and we're basically just going to make a ring all the way around. So at the start there you want to just do 5 blocks, then 2, and we're just going to bring these all the way over to the other side. Just like this, placing all of these down in the same direction. Make sure you don't have any like this or like this. You want them all kind of faced into each other. And we're going to pretty much do the exact same thing on the other side. So 2, 2, and then 5. And like I said, leave them, or if you want to, you can replace them too. Doesn't really matter though. As for filling in this central area, the first thing we're going to do is grab 1, 2, and 3 oak slabs and place them there at the back of the base where we're going to be building the bedroom. I'm using oak slabs instead of full planks just to save on some resources a little bit. Of course, planks would be absolutely fine. Now we're going to grab some bookshelves and actually build the enchanting area because that's embedded into the floor. So in front of these slabs, we're going to have 3 bookshelves here, 3 more here, 3 more here, and 3 more here in this 3 by 3 shape in the middle. Now 1, 2, 3 of these 4 corners we're going to make bookshelves, and one of them we're going to make a slab. Bookshelves are quite expensive and you only need 15 for max 30 levels, so you can put one in the corner here but it's not needed. They look the same from the top texture, so you can just use a oak slab. Then from this slab or the bookshelf on either corner, we're just going to bring these all the way over to the other side here on both of the 2 sides like that. Then we're going to have 3 more at the back here and 3 more in front of it. Then we're going to skip a block and place 3 more and just do that all the way across until we eventually get to just in front of the bookshelves right here. And as for the other gaps all the way across, just for a little bit of a change in the floor so it's not totally oak slabs all the way across, we're just going to add in some horizontal stripped oak logs, which as you can see, I think it makes it look a little bit better that way. We've just got a few more blocks to place down in the floor here, starting off with our chest sections. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of these blocks in the floors on both of the sides, just like that. Now we need to grab some sort of lighting block. Once again, I'm using shroom lights, but it doesn't really matter because it's mostly going to be hidden. We're just placing it on the back 2 blocks just to kind of illuminate the room a little bit better and get some light behind the chests. I'd recommend using something like shroom lights, glowstone, jack-o'-lanterns, maybe some of the frog lights would be fine. Don't use anything super jarring with the colors here, like sea lanterns maybe, but glowstone and jack-o'-lanterns, they're pretty easy to get, they'd be absolutely fine. But just in front of those light sources, we're going to have some more stripped spruce logs facing in the same direction. Now we're not going to worry about these 2 archways where we've done nothing with the walls, we'll come back to them later. But for these 2 sections, what we're going to do, on the slightly smaller section, we're just going to break these 3 blocks, replace them with some logs. And on the slightly larger section, we're going to break these 6 blocks and replace them with the same logs. So that is the main layout of the base all done. Now we can start placing in some actual items, starting off with our chests for storage. So go ahead and grab all of your chest blocks, and what we're going to do on all of these 6 sections is place in 8 double chests. Now, just in case you don't know how to place double chests, it can be a little bit finicky sometimes. I'll walk you through it. If you know how to place them, just go ahead. But what we're going to do is start by facing this wall right here, and we're just going to place in 4 single chests like that. And I'm not crouching currently, I'm stood upright, not holding shift. So we've got all of them, single chests as you can see, faced into each other. Then we're going to crouch this time, and we're going to click on the side of the chest and turn them into a double one, as you can see. As for this side, we don't want to crouch when we place these, but we want to place in 1, 2, 3 against the log, and this bottom one on the floor. Don't click on the barrel, otherwise you're going to open it up, and if you crouch, it's not going to turn it into a double chest. You're going to have 2 single chests, which we don't want. So basically, do this 6 times over for all of these sections. When you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Of course, if you want to label what's inside of these chests, you can use some item frames or some signs or something like that. I'm sure you can figure it out. Now what we're going to do is work on these 2 archway sections, which is what we're going to be placing our furnaces in, as well as our stone cutter and ender chest. Now the first thing that I actually forgot to do was break these 3 blocks in line with the archway itself and replace them with the stripped spruce logs. But with that done, what we can now do is place in a crafting table here, just behind the actual archway in the center on both of the sides. And on top of one of them, we're going to have a stone cutter, and on top of the other, we're going to have an ender chest. Now, behind the ender chest on one of the sides, we can have a blast furnace with one above it, and behind the stone cutter on the other side, we're going to have 2 smokers. Then we just want to get our furnaces, and we're going to place in 1, 2, 3, 4 of these on both of the sides with 1 at the top, kind of creating this archway of furnaces. So the idea for these 2 sections is you can access all of the furnaces round the archway like that, the crafting table, the ender chest, as well as the blast furnace or smoker that's actually laid back by a block. Same goes for this side too. Now we're going to come back to the other archways here, and on the smaller section, so where we're only back by 1 block, this is going to be our small brewing setup. So the first thing we're going to do is place a stair facing backwards. Then we're going to have 2 stairs looking at the wall whilst we place these, so it's kind of curved round a little bit. You don't need to, you can do that, but I think it looks slightly better. And what we're going to do is waterlog this stair as well as this one and create an infinite water source in the middle, which is obviously very helpful for brewing. Then we're going to have 2 brewing stands either side, a trapdoor here in top of this block right here with a chest on top of that one. Then on this block here above the brewing stand, we can have 2 more trapdoors and 2 more brewing stands up there in the top corner. Over on the other side here, the first thing we're going to do is break 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blocks. And on the bottom block here, we're going to place in a polished deep slate stair facing into the wall, and we're going to waterlog that. Then we're basically going to replace the blocks back down. So then we'll have our polished deep slate, and this one we actually need to be another stair. So let's do a cobbled deep slate stair and waterlog it again. Then we can hop out and basically just put everything back where it was before. Something like that was probably fine. I don't remember. It's good enough. Then we're going to break these 3 blocks in the floor and just replace these 2 here with polished deep slate as well as over here. Then we're going to place in some dirt on the floor, which will eventually become farmland, and same goes for these 3 here. Real quickly, we can just cover them up like that. As you may have guessed by now, this is our small farming area. So the first thing we need to do is get a little bit more light in here so our crops can grow. We need a lantern on that block right there. Or this one, up to you. Then we're going to go ahead and till all of our dirt here to turn it into soil or farmland, whatever you want to call it. And on top of all of those, we're going to place down our carrots, which will eventually grow. Probably not quite as quick as mine are, but they'll get there, and you can always use bone meal to speed up the process. Now all we have left to do is the bedroom at the end here, as well as sort out the enchanting, which is simply placing the enchanting table and also breaking the blocks around it and replacing it with something that's pretty cool. I like using the red mushroom block. It's not the easiest thing to get a hold of, so if you want to use something else, that's totally fine. It's kind of up to you. It's 8 blocks, so maybe use something kind of cool and expensive if you want to. Now what we're going to do is place in a little bit of a decorative armor stand helmet. Now if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know exactly what to do and how to do this because I do it all the time. But if not, let me show you because I think it's really cool. So our bed is going to be going around about here, and we're going to be having some looms at the back. We can actually go ahead and place 2 of them like this. We're going to place them in backwards so we can see the front texture, which I think looks pretty cool, kind of like drawers. But on this block right here on the right corner, we're going to break the floor block and place in 1, 2, 3, and 4 snow layers with an armor stand on top and then a decorative helmet. Maybe not netherite, it's quite expensive, but something you kind of want to show off. Then what we're going to do is kind of place in a few temporary blocks and try and get our loom facing backwards just like that, 1 block above the armor stand. And then we're going to place a piston just above it like that, and we're going to push that piston, that's difficult to say, down so the loom is actually inside of the armor stand like that. So 2 piston pushes all the way down until it's covering up the armor stand and kind of just looks like the helmet is on display there, which, yeah, I think that's really cool. As I mentioned, the bed is going to be going in the center here. Any color is absolutely fine, but then either side of it, in front of these barrels, we'll have a cartography table and a smithing table. We're also going to stick 2 more single chests here for a little bit of extra storage. Not forgetting you can also use the barrels too. Then we're going to grab some spruce trapdoors and place in a couple of shelves here and here. Make sure they're in line with this block and not placed up here. You'll know that they're in the right position because you won't be able to place anything on top of them. Like an anvil, for example. That's also a really strong trapdoor holding that thing up. And we're going to have a grindstone over on this side. So very helpful stuff for enchanting. Lastly, we just have to do a little bit of decoration around here. So first things first, we're going to have a bell up against the wall there. And then we're going to have some spruce trapdoors here, here, and here. On this top trapdoor, we want to place in 3 candles. If you don't have access to candles, just stick a lantern there or some other sort of decorative block. Doesn't really matter. Same goes for the bell. And we're going to have a flower pot here, here, and here. Of course, with some stuff to go inside of them. And last but not least, we just want to stick a couple of armor stands on top of the smithing tables and cartography tables. And of course, put some armor on display on them. So there we go, everybody. That is the tutorial all done. I really hope you enjoyed watching and that you have a good time in your new underground survival base. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.